Hi everybody, I'm Heinz Strauss and welcome to the My Car Now YouTube channel, where today we will be reviewing another disruptor to the legacy brands in the South African pickup market. And who better to do this review with me than my dear friend Dominic.
Yes, thank you, Hein, for having me. And I must say, I'm very interested to test this car. As we all know, legacy brands is the market in South Africa. But the Chinese are coming in hot and hard with some great deals and great cars. But let's dive more into it and see what this is actually about. Straight off the bat, looks-wise from the front, many of you might see a Dodge Ram. But from the back, as Hein would say,
I actually think, I have a theory. It's not tested, so don't quote me on it. But I think when the Chinese were developing this vehicle and they were doing their R&D, they imported 2 American vehicles to China, and the poor bloke driving the Ram was stationary at the traffic lights, and the oak in the F-150 wasn't looking.
just rear-ended.
And some oak went like, you know what? That works for me. So theory, but
rear
unproven.
F-150 style rear lights.
Yeah.
Dodge Ram front. From the side though, it doesn't resemble either,
No.
in my opinion. I like the look of it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I do like the look of it. I have been looking at quite a few forums overseas. The Aussies really like this car, and you get some cool custom accessories for this car that really makes it look like a US pickup truck.
Do you know what I like about this? It's gigantic. It truly is a massive pickup.
It is, but if you had to check the oil, you wouldn't be able to get into the engine.
No,
This car is tall.
That's
This car,
tall.
I think, is actually one of the biggest Bakkies currently on the market in South Africa.
Yeah, but it's a pretty decent looking Bakkie, as you said.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It comes with a lot. The lights are really cool. When you turn it on, I don't know if you've noticed, it actually flows, the light, and it fills up segment by segment until you have the full, call it angel eye. But I like it. Let's see how it goes and let's take it for a test drive.
Now let's see if this thing can win me over.
Most of you will see these videos on road. I have decided to go for a different approach and see what this SUV ride style feels like off-road. We're going to see how a 2x4 without diff lock does on a 4x4 track. So let's see. So it's got the makings to be a great vehicle. Comes with a ZF8 gearbox, which everyone knows is an amazing indestructible box. It comes with a semi-Cummins inspired design motor and Bosch electronics. So it definitely has the makings to be a great car. Inside, you'll start to notice things that you would notice in your, let's say, German star-shaped legacy brand. And that would be your speakers and your instrument cluster. Very Merc-esque. It is definitely a softer ride than you get in some of your legacy brands. That is an absolute given. You can feel it doesn't have that rear leaf spring setup, but instead coils. And even though this is a massive car, it handles itself really well, even on these tight little dirt tracks. The steering feels really adequate for a 4x4 Bakkie, and I would say it actually feels more like a car. It, for its size, does amazingly well with its turning circle. We're on some reasonably narrow tracks, and as mentioned earlier, this is one of SA's largest pickups, so you would think it's a bit of a bull in a china shop when it comes to navigating these small off-road areas. But it is surprisingly nimble and capable, especially for this 2x4. So the 4x4 is actually even more impressive, as everyone who knows BorgWarner thinks of turbos, but they actually do more than just turbos and a bunch of mechanical stuff. So the 4x4 version of this comes with a BorgWarner transfer case, electronic transfer case, with front and rear locking diffs that make it extremely capable. Interior wise, let's talk about that. Yes, this car was not designed to be a hectic off-roader, as seen by the interior. With the white headliner, it does start to show some dirt, unfortunately. But as with any car of a white interior, and you are doing off-roading, that's to be expected. The seats, however, are one thing I want to touch on. They are very good looking seats in my opinion, and comfortable, but they are a little on the firm side, and especially on these off-road tracks, I could say they could do with a bit more side bolster. I'm getting thrown around a little bit, and I think a little bit more side bolster would definitely help. But besides that, it is a very good, comfortable ride. I have got plenty of room. As soon as you notice the big front grille, you'll see a little 48-volt hybrid symbol on the front. And that's because this is a mild hybrid. It doesn't actually go to the motor, but more for the turbo. It's to stop that bottom end lag, and you can really feel it when you drive. This car has a super linear power delivery, which is really nice to feel. The only downside is, on my personal opinion, I think the 2-litre mild hybrid turbo motor is a little slow for such a big vehicle.
What this really needed was a 3-litre turbo diesel V6 pushing out 180 kilowatts and 500 plus Newton meters of torque. That kind of powertrain suits the look of this vehicle better. But then again, on the other hand, if you're going to offer something like this, which is truly well-spec'd, it's a good-looking pickup. At this price point, you had to compromise somewhere. But I do think that a V6 is the right engine for this vehicle. Yes, this is a truly massive pickup. And the interior is massive too. Like, Ryan is so far away from me filming that I feel like I need a megaphone just to make sure he's getting audio. It's wide. Like, this is basically 2 meters wide. And I think because of the size, there's another thing that I would just like to point out that I think Foton should have done. And that is to have both mirrors able to fold in electronically. But let me tell you, I'm comfortable. I love the layout of the interior. Everything is easy to reach. Driving this really makes you feel almost like you're the final boss in some Chinese-inspired video game. The bonnet is high, but I must say, you can easily judge where the corners of the vehicle are, in spite of its size. And these massive rear view mirrors are pretty big, so visibility backwards is pretty good. And I'm going to go up quite a steepish incline and does it with ease. So yeah, it is confidence inspiring for such a big vehicle, and I do think that this has the potential, shall I say, to be a great overlanding vehicle. I have to say, I love the look of the steering wheel. It is genuinely nice. This vehicle has loads of electronic accessories, including hill descent control, traction control off. You've got a pretty nice 360-degree camera, which is helpful when you're going off the beaten track like we are today. You can switch your park distance control off. Again, pretty helpful feature. Your stop start, you can switch off. You've got auto hold. The infotainment system offers a very nice sized screen, which has got all sorts of built-in functionality. This is not an in-depth review of the infotainment itself, but my general feel is that it's got everything you need. And one thing I really appreciate, and thank you Foton for this, is that you have physical buttons through which you can control the air conditioning, fan speed, etc, etc. So you also have heated seats, which is a nice touch. So a big thumbs up for the physical buttons. Well, the more I drive it, the more I like it. And it's actually pretty easy to live with for a vehicle of this size. I would bear in mind though, that you'd need to get used to the dimensions of this vehicle, especially when you're doing your daily grocery run, because it is pretty big.
So one key feature of this Bakkie that I feel needs to be mentioned for those backseat passengers is this whole rear seat setup is actually at more of an angle than most of the Bakkies on the market. So you have that bit more of a comfortable feel. For those who have been in other legacy brand Bakkies, you know you feel like you're sitting dead upright, where thankfully in the rear you have a bit more comfort in this, and especially legroom. They have really utilized the space in this cabin to show absolute comfort. Another thing to mention on this Bakkie is it's probably one of the only Bakkies on the market with a full panoramic sunroof. And it is big. This sunroof really gives you all the light you could need. So of course it's not a double sunroof, it's only a front sunroof, but you get that panoramic glass style all the way to the rear, which is absolutely amazing.
So Dom, let's do a bit of a bonnet talk.
I'm just trying to see you over the bonnet.
I'm sorry, I forgot my step ladder at home.
So what do you think of the car? We've driven it, we've had a look at it, we've gone through the specs of it, but what's your personal opinion on it?
I think these guys are onto something. I've certainly been won over in the sense that I love the direction that they are going. They are square on facing legacy brands, and they've decided we're not just gonna match you or build something similar to what you offer, but we're actually gonna go one step further, and we are gonna up the game and produce a vehicle which, let's be honest, South Africa needed for a long time, more of a full-sized pickup.
They have done a huge step from what everyone thinks of Foton to this. I don't feel like they had a stepping stone. No. They went, we don't need this stepping stone, and just jumped straight into this, which is remarkable because it is a very cool Bakkie with a very cool setup, and it has all the traits to make a great vehicle. But as I say, only time will tell and kilometers on this motor.
Yeah, Foton basically said, let's skip the moon and head for Mars. So I think they've got a good thing going. And if they can actually get this to prove itself over a longer period of time, I think South Africans are really gonna gravitate towards this brand, because let's be honest, it does offer a lot for the money.
It does, but I don't think many farmers are gonna buy it. Are you really gonna use it as a farm vehicle, or is this your massive mall crawler?
I think this is your massive mall crawler. Right, if you like this video, like and subscribe so you don't miss the next upload. Love you and leave you.
See you soon.